Hello, my clickbait victims. Welcome yourselves back to another video. Okay, I'm just joking, alright? I'm joking. This video isn't clickbait. Now, today I'm gonna be going over the top 15 best cards in Clash Royale. Now, this list is gonna be based 50% on the meta, 20% in my opinion, and 20% on on the versatility of the card, and 10% on based on my own judgment of of how good a never mind. Like 30% based on the meta. Alright, now coming in at number 15, it is the log. The log is no doubt one of the best cards for gaining positive elixir trades because you really can't go wrong with the log. You sound a princess or a goblin bow, you're gaining value. You sound a skeleton army, you're gaining value. Since it can knock back any ground troop, and since it rolls such a huge distance and is so cheap, it's just awesome. Number 14, Ice Spirit. Now the Ice Spirit is number 14 because of its freeze effect, its ability to cycle through a deck very well. Now the Ice Spirit combined with Zap takes out minions. As you can see, I used Ice Spirit in the Zap to take out the minions, but I need to angle it perfectly. If the Ice Spirit missed one minion, then what would happen would be that minion would survive and take out my tower. Will do a lot of damage to my tower. Because Ice Spirit and Zap is a great replacement for arrows, as for it can help cycle through a deck really well. And if your opponent has a tank like a giant in front of them, then you can't just have the Zap spell because the giant will distract your tower. Now, the Ice Spirit is also great for resetting Sparky, Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon, and Double Prince charge attacks. Also, since it only costs 1 elixir, it cycles your deck very well, and it makes your deck more dynamic, and it can freeze enemy troops for 1.5 seconds, giving your other cards a lot of time to take them out. The Ice Spirit is a great card, produces great value for 1 elixir. Coming in at number 13, it's the Skeleton Army. The Skeleton Army is no doubt one of the best cards in the game because of the fact that it counters the Grey Rod perfectly. Now your opponent can zap the Skeleton Army, so since Skeleton Army is a great zap bait, you use the Skeleton Army to bait zap and ensure in a Goblin Bro. It's because if the Skeleton Army can counter a push that doesn't have splash troops really well, and if your opponent does have if your opponent has that push, your opponent can zap your Skeleton Army, but you should use the Skeleton Army on defense and a Goblin Barrel on offense. This is great in zap bait decks, because either your opponent zaps the Goblin Barrel on offense or the Skeleton Army on defense, but not both. Now I'm not going to list Goblin Barrel or Minion Horde because they're not that versatile. Okay, now coming at number 12, it's the Tombstone. Tombstone is a decent card for its 3 elixir cost, and now, I honestly prefer the cannon more, but the tombstone is more versatile. Now, the tombstone can fit in cheap decks, as for it's a great distraction, can lure troops to both lanes, spawn skeletons after it dies, and it's just a great card. Now, I also never waste a cannon in a zap. I just showed you me wasting a cannon in a zap, but that's a huge mistake. But anyway, not gonna get way too I'm not gonna get way too carried away. Now, Tombstone can fit in some expensive decks as well, as for its unique ability to be used on offense, because they'll constantly spawn these skeletons, kind of like a Grey Rod, as well with a tank. Your opponent would need to do something about it. Another thing about the Tombstone is that it counters a lot of threats really easily and only costs 3 elixir, and these skeletons provide great value. Coming in next is the Hog Rider. At number 12, the Hog Rider is by far one of the best cards in the entire game. The Hog Rider moves very fast, so get to the tower quite quickly. It only costs 4 elixir, and it's a mini tank, and it can do a lot of damage. Now, the Hog Rider can be countered by the old metas like the cannon, but with the new meta, the Hog Rider has been a lot The Hog Rider has been a lot better. Now, Hog Rider Ice Golem decks are really popular, and the Hog Rider works very well in combination with an Ice Spirit. The Hog Rider is just one of the best cards in the game. It's fast, does a lot of damage, only costs 4 elixir, and can jump over the river. Now, coming in at number 10, it's the Executioner. It completely wrecks zap bait decks. Also, the Executioner will stun enemy troops' attack frames and reset their attack frame, which is totally overpowered. Another thing that the Executioner does a decent amount of damage and it drains an entire area, so everything in that area will get wrecked. Another thing I like about the Executioner is that slowdown effects from the Ice Spirit or Ice Golem won't affect the Executioner as much. It will only decrease its attack speed from 2.5 seconds to 2.9 seconds. In comparison, slowdown effects affect other troops by a lot more. The Executioner will only engage at 5 tiles, but its axe can reach up to 8 tiles far. Now, coming at number 9, it's the Tornado. The Tornado is an awesome card for just a 3 elixir. It's a really great card for forcing enemy troops to activate your Kane's Tower. It's also a cheaper Inferno Tower. As for you can siege the opposite lane after seeing a Golem and counter the Tornado with, counter the Golem with a simple Tornado. Because if both of your arena towers are up, the Tornado can force the Golem to activate your Kane's Tower and do no damage to your arena tower. Well, only a bit. Now, the reason why I like the Tornado so much is that you can use it so easily to force enemy troops to activate your Kane's Tower. It doesn't do that much damage, but its damage can be useful. It has a lingering effect, and the Tornado affects a huge area. And in my opinion, the most frightening aspect of the Tornado is that the Tornado can completely wreck enemy troops combined with an Executioner, because Tornado plus Executioner can wreck a lot of pushers. Yeah, and like some pushers, like the giant witch and musketeer, that push can get wrecked by Tornado Executioner combined with cannon. Now, coming at number 8, it's the Meta Minion. Now, I honestly don't think the Meta Minion is really that good, but it's a meta card. The Meta Minion does a lot of damage and is great against most giant bowler decks. In my opinion, the Meta Minion really isn't that good, but a lot of people use the Meta Minion. And the Meta Minion is versatile. It can fit in cheap or expensive decks. It only costs 3 elixir. It's not weak against fireball or arrows. And also, the Meta Minion, it does a lot of damage, but it got a few nerfs. It got 2 attack speed nerfs and damage nerfs. And the Meta Minion isn't as good as before, but Meta Minion is still great as for it's an air troop, and it cannot be targeted by stuff like bombers. For a cost of 3 elixir, it's still a great card because of its decent damage. Now, number 7, it's the regular minions. The minions is an excellent counter to Grey Rod. With the rise of the Grey Rod, it means the rise of the minions. The minions are an air troop, so they can fly over barbarians, bombers, stuff like that, and wreck them. The minions also are not weak against zap or troops that can only target ground troops. Minions also do a lot more damage to Mega Minion when combined together, and they can wreck Skeleton Army, and they're just awesome. And the minions, for the cost of 3 elixir, provide a lot of value. Your opponent can fireball it, but it's not a positive elixir trait. Now coming in at number 6, the Ice Wizard. It's kind of self-explanatory. Only for the cost of 3 elixir, it affects an area, can attack ground and air troops, ranged, will not die to fireball, and slows enemy troops down by a lot. It's great value for 3 elixir. Now coming in at number 5, the Zap spell. The Zap spell is an awesome spell because of its instant cast time, only 1 second server delay, so it's great to go with a Hog Rider, as well can instantly take out a Skeleton Army. Now also the Zap spell resets enemy troops targeting. As you can see, my opponent's arena tower attacked my meta minion first, but after I zap the tower, the arena tower reset its target onto my Hog Rider. The Zap spell can be used to force enemy targets to reset the target so that you can preserve your troops longer. Because if your opponent's arena tower is attacking a glass cannon and wanted to reset its target to a tank, use the Zap spell. The Zap spell can also reset Sparky, Double Prince, and Inferno Tower's charge attacks, and the Zap spell also resets enemy troops targeting. Zap spell provides great value for 2 elixir. Now coming in next is the Fireball. Fireball combined with Zap takes out most glass cannons and barbarians. Now another thing about Fireball is that the Fireball just provides great value for the cost of just 4 elixir. In Fireball, it can take out minions, combined with the Grey Rod, it's great. Fireball, it's kind of self-explanatory, and for its pushback effect, instant damage and 4 elixir, great. Coming up, okay, now coming in number 3. Now coming in at number 1, it's the Ice Golem. Ice Golem is just an awesome card. It can lure enemy troops to the other lane, and the Ice Golem can also be a great tank in a tank and spank combo. The Ice Golem combined with Zap takes a minion horde, and the Ice Golem only costs 2 elixir and is a mini tank. It's great in tank and spank combos to counter splash troops. Is the Furnace. At tournament standards, one Fire Spirit will always land a hit on the arena tower, so that the Furnace in its full lifetime will do a lot of damage to the arena tower. At the top of the leaderboard, the Furnace combined with Royal Giant is OP. It's great for Zap bait decks. As for it always takes 2 hits from the tower to kill a Furnace, so that one Fire Spirit will always land a hit on the tower, doing a lot of damage. That's really annoying. Now coming in at number 2 is the bowler. The bowler is kind of self-explanatory. Only for the cause of Fire Elixir, giant bowler decks are really popular. Also, the bowler can push back or kill most ground troops. It does its damage will move, and like the bowler's rock will just move and do damage to anything in its path push back troops, and does a decent damage, and is a glass cannon. The bowler provides great value for 5 elixir. And altogether, Bowler's just a great card. The Ice Golem combined with minions can counter a meta minion if there's a Lava Hound behind it. The Ice Golem is an excellent mini tank. The Ice Golem is a